Well, ladies and gents, today we're going to talk about earthquakes, okay, and what we're going to do, we'll focus on these 10 points down here, use my electronic blackboard over here, and you just make notes accordingly. Right, so focusing, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, on the causes of earthquakes. Now, earthquakes are caused, okay, by the release of built-up pressure, okay, so by the release of built-up pressure. So that's the first thing that we need to sort of note. Okay, and this happens inside Earth's crust. Okay, that happens inside the Earth's crust. An earthquake's power is measured. It's measured on the Richter scale. So the Richter scale, that's what it's measured on. And it uses an instrument, okay, called the seismometer. Okay, so the seismometer is the instrument that it uses. Okay, right, so have a good look at that there. That's still part of number one. Okay, so these are the main points initially starting this off, and we'll just have it at 12 on there. Right, now, so some extra notes on it. The effects of an earthquake can be devastating. They can destroy, settlements, change the way the land lies, as it were, landscapes. Okay, and cause many deaths. Okay, so these are general points about earthquakes. Okay, so have a good look at that. Take it down to number 12. Okay, now an earthquake is the shaking and vibration of the Earth's crust. Okay, so looking more at what it actually is. So, earthquake is shaking and vibration of Earth's crust, and this happens due to the movement of Earth's plates. So the Earth's plates. Okay, plate tectonics. Very exciting. There we are. Tectonics is the key word there. So, shaking and vibration of Earth's crust due to the Earth's plates, plate tectonics. Okay, let's make that point and put that in there. Right. Earthquakes can happen along any type of plate boundary. So, any type. Okay, I'm just going to, back into 36. So, they can happen any type of Earth, any type of plate boundary, I should say. Plate boundary. Okay. So, right. Earthquakes occur when tension is released from inside the crust. So, they occur when tension, okay, make this a bit bigger so we can really focus on this point here first. Okay, occur when tension, okay, is released inside the crust. So the crust of the Earth. Okay, plates do not always smoothly move alongside each other, and sometimes they get stuck. So movement, not smooth, and may get stuck as well. Okay, right, have a good look at that next point, and take it down to 12. Okay, now, When this happens, pressure builds up. Okay, so this happens, we get stuck, etc. Not moving smoothly, etc. Okay, pressure builds up. So pressure builds up. When this pressure is eventually released, so eventually released, okay, an earthquake tends to occur and equals earthquake. Okay, so let's take that down to 12. There. So these are the main points we've got so far. Right. The point inside the crust where the pressure is released is called the focus. So point in crust, inside the crust, where there is a release of pressure equals the focus. It's called the focus. Okay. Point on the Earth's surface above the focus is called the epicenter. Okay, which then, so let's just do some dots here for that. Okay, so the point on Earth's surface above focus equals epicenter. Okay, alright, let's take that down to 12. Okay, right, now earthquake energy, let's take this back up here, and here we go. Now, earthquake energy is released in seismic waves. So earthquake energy is released in seismic waves. These waves spread out. Okay, so spread out. Okay, from the focus point that we talked about earlier. Okay, right. So from focus, felt most strongly. Preferably not stringly, but strongly at epicenter. Okay, so most strongly at the epicenter, and less strong as they travel further away. Okay, so less strong, further away. Most severe damage caused by an earthquake will happen close to the epicenter. So damage, or worst damage, near the epicenter. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take this down to 12. And these are the main points that we need regarding the issue to do with causes. So have a good look at that. Okay, so that's all answering number 1 there. Okay. Now we're looking at the measurement of earthquakes. So the power of an earthquake is measured using a seismometer, which we came across before. Seismometer, so this is what it does. Seismometer, okay, detects vibrations. So this picks up the vibrations caused by an earthquake. Okay, and plots them on a seismograph. Okay, so they plot them on the seismograph. the strength, so the strength or magnitude, correct if I could pronounce it correctly, measured. So this, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I just want to put that on the next line actually, measured on a Richter scale, using Richter scale. Okay, from 0 to 10. Okay, so that's the points on that one. Now, that in mind, now, we'll go down here. Now, earthquakes measuring just 1 or 2 on the scale are very common. So 1 or 2 on that particular scale equal very common. They're happening all the time. Japan, etc., San Francisco, and so on. These earthquakes are so small, people can't feel them. Okay? People can't feel them. And now, I was out in Japan about 20 years ago, we had a 4, and I did feel that. Now, they can only be picked up by the seismometer. Okay, so the seismometer can pick those up. Now, earthquakes which are 7 or 8, on the other hand, can be devastating. Okay, really dangerous, devastating. Okay, now, China, Sichuan province. So Sichuan province in China, southwest part of China, May 2008, and that equaled 7.8. Okay, so there we have that. Right. Right, number 3. Now we're looking at the effects of an earthquake. Now, talking in general terms first of all, both short term and long term. Earthquakes can destroy settlements and kill many people. We've already mentioned that. Aftershocks. So let's talk about aftershocks. Now, aftershocks, preferably spelling it correctly, can cause even more damage to an area. Okay, so even more damage sometimes. Okay, not all the time, but sometimes. Now, it's possible to classify the impacts of an earthquake by taking the following factors into account. So we've got 5 factors here. So, short-term or immediate factors. So short-term, immediate factors. Long-term impacts, if you like, so long-term impacts. And then social impacts, i.e. the impacts on people, for example. Economic impacts, so economic impacts, talking about, obviously the region's wealth. Okay, so the wealth of the area, and environmental. So environmental impacts. Example on the landscape. So landscape involved there. Alright, okay. Let's take that down to 12. I'll put that there, just in the corner there. Right, now looking specifically at short-term effects, if you like. Okay, so social. So let's have a look at the social first of all. Social, people killed or injured. So killed, injured, homes destroyed. Okay, transport. Let's get that right first of all. Not modes, but homes. Homes. Okay. Transport. And communication. Links may be disrupted. Okay. Water pipes. May burst. Water supplies may be contaminated. Let's just put down contaminated. Okay, it's contaminated water supply. So that's social impacts, if you like. So social impacts are those listed there. Now, the next one, economic impacts. So economic impacts. Let's try and, sorry, I just want to be consistent to get up to 36. Keep in line with everything else. So economic. Talking about shops and businesses, etc. Be destroyed as well. Looting may occur. I remember seeing the pictures from where was it? In Caribbean a few years ago. Haiti. That's the thing there, I really did. Right, got there in the end. Now, that may take place. Damage to transport and communication links can make trade difficult. So, trade difficulties. Okay. If you've got transport props. Okay. So that's economic, ladies and gentlemen. So economic. Now, the next one, environmental impacts that we need to look at. So environmental impacts. Environmental is always a word I found difficult to pronounce, and I don't know why. Now, built landscape may be destroyed. Okay, so built landscape destroyed. Fires, gas explosions. Let's just put down gas down. Fires can damage areas of woodland. Damage areas, woodland. Okay. Landslides may occur. And as we know what happened in Japan in 2011, tsunamis may occur and causing flooding as a consequence, if not worse. Bear in mind what happened in Japan. Right, so that's short-term consequences. Looking at number 3. Right, number 4, looking at effects which are long-term, which we touched on earlier. Okay, disease may spread. Issues of rehousing, so disease, rehousing, refugee camps, which can also be places where disease spreads. Okay. Cost of rebuilding a settlement. Cost of rebuilding, expensive. So cost of rebuilding can be high. Investment in the area may be focused only on repairing damage caused by the earthquake. So the investment, in other words, might not go far enough. It might just may focus on damage only, if I can use that phrase, damage only. Okay, and income could be lost, of course. So income could be lost. Okay, let's just put this into 12, what we've done so far, and preferably bring the cursor down here. That's what it allows us to. Right, okay. The other thing is important natural and human landmarks may be lost. So, which in terms of natural and human landmarks may be lost. So important natural and human landmarks may be lost. So things which you're familiar with, historical things, human created stuff, and obviously, you know, even though I know it's not an earthquake caused one, but what happened to was it Mount Washington in the US back in the early 1980s, that famous volcano which ripped the side of the mountain. And I say Washington, I don't think it was Washington, and I'm going to leave that to geographers to clarify. Right, so that is number 4, ladies and gentlemen, and answers number 4. Right, in this one we're going to focus on factors affecting the impact of an earthquake. Okay, so distance from the epicenter, effects of an earthquake are more severe at the center. So, more severe at center. Okay, higher on the Richter scale, so higher Richter scale reading, if you like, more severe it is. Okay. Level of development, so level of development, very important point. Okay, compare say Haiti to Japan, for example. MEDC, these are more likely to have resources and technology for monitoring, prediction and response. So let's just put that in brackets. So you've got the MEDC, so they've got positives going for them: resources, tech, short for technology, and this is for purposes of monitoring. So monitoring, prediction, and response as well. Okay, I'm going to just take that down to 12 due to the big squeeze that's happening on the screen. Right, here we go. Now, population density, rural, urban. So, pop density, rural or urban. More densely populated an area, the more likely there are to be deaths and casualties. Okay, more dense, equaling higher casualties. Okay, so we have that there. Communication, accessibility for rescue teams, very important. So that includes transport, accessibility for rescue teams. Okay. Alright, so have a good look at that before we just take it down to 12. There. Okay, the time of day. So time of day is also important. Time of day influences where people are in their homes, at work. time of day, where people are, home, work, and work travelling. So travelling. So we have that there. So severe earthquake during a rush hour. So rush hour, can you imagine that? So rush hour could also have severe devastating effects in a very densely populated area. Okay, time of year. Okay, that could be important. So time of year, climate aspects will influence survival rates. Okay, so survival rates, and also let's get this right. Which disease can spread? Which disease can spread? Right. Okay. So all these are important factors. Let's take that down to 12. Alright, I hope none of you heard my wife swearing in the background on that last one. Yeah, oh well. Right, number 6, looking at earthquakes and volcanoes in less developed countries, i.e. LEDCs, etc. Okay, so they often suffer more from the effects of volcanoes and earthquakes than MEDCs. Okay, so communication systems may be underdeveloped. So, okay, let's make that point there first of all. So, communication systems may be underdeveloped. So the population may not be well educated. Population less educated about what to do. Okay, about what to do and how to respond. So, for example, in Japan, I know they have a day committed to earthquake practice every year, I believe, in the event of volcanic eruption or an earthquake. Right. So that's the first point there. Let's just already put that down to 12. Now, it will help if it goes on to the next slide. That'll be great. Now, construction standards tend to be poor. So poor building or construction standards. Homes and other buildings may suffer serious damage. So homes, etc., other buildings, including within that, etc., if you like, suffer serious damage when disaster occurs. Okay, so have a look at that before we minimise it. Right. Now, buildings collapsing can cause high death tolls. So, collapsing buildings can equal high death tolls. Evacuation and other emergency plans, evacuation and other emergency plans, difficult to put into action because of limited funds and resources. Okay. Right. Now, clearing up can be difficult. So, just get this back up to 36. So, clearing up. Can be difficult. Not enough money. Not enough money to rebuild. Homes, etc. Quickly and safely. Let's put it down quickly and safely. Many people could be forced to live in emergency housing or refugee camps. Okay, so emergency housing, or refugee camps. Okay, so important factors for number 6, as it were. Right. Right, okay, the Kobe earthquake happened in Kobe's in Japan, happened in 1995, heavily populated, so heavily populated area. Okay. Now, it measured 7.4 on the Richter scale, 7.4 on the Richter scale, and it was the result of movement, plate movements along the boundary between the Philippines plate, Pacific plate, and the Eurasian plate. So, plates involved were Philippines, Pacific, and the Eurasian plate as well. Okay. So, I remember that, just hearing when I got to work. Right, now the effects. Looking at the effects here, primary effects and secondary effects. Now the primary, okay, now primary effects, 35,000 people were injured, 35,000 injured, buildings, bridges collapsed despite earthquake-proof design, and I remember that being very, very controversial. So buildings, bridges, collapsed despite earthquake proof design. Not prof design, but proof design. Even better. Okay, so secondary. Let's look at secondary effects. Buildings destroyed by fire destruction. Okay, due to gas mains being fractured. Okay, and 316,000 people were homeless as a result. So 316,000 homeless as a result. Temporary housing, not hosing, but housing. Right. Okay. Right. Responses. Number 8. So number 8 down here. Always responses. That's this one. Let's have a look. Okay. Now short term. So short term, T for term. Short term. People evacuated, emergency rations, so emergency rations, rescue teams search for survivors for 10 days. 10 days search for survivors. Right. Now, long term, so long term here, many people moved away from the area. Many moved away from the area permanently. Jobs were created in the construction industry, and jobs created in construction. Okay, so that is the short and long-term responses, if you like, of the Kobe earthquake. Right, okay, now we've got Kashmir in Pakistan, 2005, so an example of a poorly developed area, if you like. Now, as I said before, that happened in 2005, okay, 7.6 on the Richter scale, and it hits Kashmir. The earthquake was a result of collision between the Indian and the Eurasian plates, between Indian and Eurasian plates. Now, okay, so we got that there. Now, the effects, so short-term effects, sorry, I'm going around the twist because that's to do with responses. So the primary effects were following: buildings collapsed. So buildings collapsed. 79,000 people were killed. 79,000 killed. I believe the figure for Kobe, which wasn't actually quoted above, was about 5,500. Landslides. So we had landslides. Large cracks appeared in the ground. Large cracks. Okay. Secondary. Let's just get rid of that there. Let's put it down here. Secondary effects were broken sewerage. Is that right? Broken sewerage pipes. Okay, equals contamination of water supply. So contamination of water and disease increases as a result. Alright, people died of cold during the harsh winter, so we had that as well. Winter, cold equaled deaths as well. Okay, I'm just going to take that down to 12. Okay, so winter cold equaled death rate increase. Right, okay, so that is what happened with regards to the effects. Now, responses. Short term. Yep. So let's have a look at the short term first of all. So short term, Army and emergency services arrived to join the rescue effort. So you had the Army and emergency joined in rescue. Tents given out by charities. Tents given out by charities. Put charities in brackets. Aid workers arrived from abroad. Aid workers from abroad to find survivors and treat injured. To find people and treat. Let's put it that way. Okay. Now, long term, ladies and gentlemen. So the long term effects. Schools, hospitals rebuilt. So these things rebuilt. And building regulations improved. reduce damage and death rate for any future earthquakes even. Okay, let's just go back up there and get it into shot. Alright. Okay, that's the last point. And there's my video on earthquakes, which is based on BBC Bite Size. Okay, if you want to sort of use that as part of your revision, you may.